All right, hello again to anyone watching these Kaijudo videos. Today, bringing you one of the first matches of coverage for the Kaijudo Open that I was hosting through the Rangers Dojo Discord group. And today, luckily enough, we're joined by Stents the Boss from that group. How's it going, man? Nice to have you on for the first time.
What up, man? It's good to be on the channel. It's good to be back. I've been away from Kaijudo for quite a while while life was kicking my butt. So it's good to be back. It's good to be watching and playing some games again. My goodness.
Yeah, exactly. It's been a while since even I've played really that much. So
Mm.
nice to get in the swing of it. And hopefully we can do a good job covering this first match, which is played between my brother and Darksigner. So or I guess I should call him by his actual name, which is Gareth, and he's playing Mono Nature versus Regen, which is a matchup I talked a little bit about in the deck preview discussion breakdown kind of thing that I did a little bit earlier. I guess I can talk about my thoughts on the matchup, and I don't know if you have anything to chip in if
Mm.
you've thought about it much at all, but in general, overall, I think Darksigner is the favorite in this matchup.
I
Um,
definitely agree.
I Yeah, I think he's just like the more I don't wanna say more aggressive, but he's got like all the shield blasts that really give him a little more insulation, and I just the way he's able to ramp up in mana, his end game with Swift Regeneration and protecting like something like a Duke Durian is just really hard to actually beat for the Mono Nature deck, because they're only really out to that is Boulder Fist, but even that kinda does a poor job because they obviously have to attack the Boulder Fist into the Durian to even unleash in the first place, so
Mm.
it's kinda hard to break that end game once it gets going. And I don't know, I guess, like, the way I usually think about this matchup is just the die roll matters a lot, but the pressure is way more on the Mono Nature side to win it because, like, if Mono Nature is going first in game, I think they're, like, maybe 50-50 or, like, a slight favorite to win, whereas if the Regen deck goes first, I think they're, like, a pretty heavy favorite, so
Yeah.
on the average, they're just, like, a favorite in the match overall
Yeah.
pretty
This
significantly.
game is very not. I wouldn't even call it tempo dependent, but it's definitely start dependent. You know what I mean? You kind of have to pick up steam and start early, because with the water
Mhm.
nature, they have a very strange inevitability. Because with the Swift Regen combo and with all of the draw that's available in the deck, eventually they will find their combo and they will just win the game nearly on the spot. Because obviously Modern Nature has no blockers outside of the pseudo blocker,
Yeah.
Artichoke. So at any given point, Artichoke's also, if I'm looking correctly, the only blast in the entire deck.
Yeah,
So
the defensive blast for sure. I think Horn Chameleon, but that's, like, barely
yeah, it's
I mean,
it's
yeah,
ineffective
it's
as a blast essentially,
yeah,
from like a
exactly, it's
defensive
just hard
perspective.
to
Yeah. Which means that at any given point, if Dark Center assembles even a half decent board and pops off with a Swift Regen combo, he essentially gets 5 free shields. There's no risk of blowback or blowout. So it's up to Mono Nature to ramp quickly to a big enough threat to
Mhm.
win the game before the combo can be assembled. And
Yeah, and then
yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
yeah, they need, like, multiple. It's like you need to kind of you can't just, like, be pressing with one evolution, you kinda need to chain, like, an
Mm,
evolution into a second evolution so that you can kinda present that, like, quick enough clock.
mm,
Like, I think the best case for Gareth's side, the Mono Nature player, is to just, like the way you wanna generally approach things, I find with Mono Nature is, like, you wanna poke, like, 1 shield early with, like, a 2-drop or the Prickleback in the best case, I think.
mm.
And then just get them to, like, an even number of shields, and then after that, you can kinda just, like, break them off in chunks where you just poke with an Evo, they're down to 2, and then you can, like, poke for an Evo and then
Yeah, and hopefully
kill
you got a
them with,
turnip
like
behind it or something, and you can just go through.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I
Or,
totally
like,
agree.
present, like yeah, poke for shield, then play an Evo, break
Mm,
2, and then you can play another Evo, and then that's, like, a clean kill. Those are, like, your best case scenarios, but those can be a little tough to pull off sometimes.
yeah,
And, yeah, like, Swift Regeneration, if that lands, like you said, like, on one hand, they just I mean, it just basically kills them a lot of the time straight up because there's no defense.
mm,
And, I mean, yeah, it's just pretty scary, and then all the shield blasts that Darksigner has, again, it just, like, insulates him a bit, and it gives him more leeway, a little more, like, survivability too. But
yeah. And the way that the Modern Nature is built, I'm kind of realizing this now, because it's the 12 evil package. It really, and because it's also got the Jarbala package and the Many Tribes package, it really needs to defend its bait. It can't risk that bait getting removed in any way, shape, or form. Thankfully, Dark Center doesn't have a light to tap and kill. Um,
yeah,
but
the no removal is, like, a big deal. Hatchery is, like, one of the best cards, especially, like, in this matchup,
Oh
partly
yeah.
because of that. Like, if you untap with a hatchery, or if you play a hatchery early, you're always gonna untap with it, and that's,
Mm.
like,
Yeah, and that's critical.
usually yeah, those games where you untap with hatchery are in, like, the
Mm.
top percentage of the mono nature draws just in general,
Mm. Yeah.
and that's, like, the one of the main saving graces for this matchup.
Mm. My point being though, when those, because it's the 12 Evo build, those small creatures that are bait, thankfully Hatchery and Sun Clan, if you can get them in conjunction, you have a steady stream of Evo bait, but
Mhm.
it's almost not as good to be attacking early with them because you need to preserve that bait on board, uh, because you're almost always going to have an Evo in hand with 12 Evos in deck and a 40 card deck, and having
Yeah,
Evo stuck
exactly.
in hand is like a recipe for death because it's just too slow. So it's like,
Yeah.
okay, well, I pick one shield, hope it doesn't die. It's a fine line to walk. So it's
Yeah,
an
like,
interesting matchup for sure.
there's just swarming plan of just, like, dumping out your hand and just, like, going wide is just not really gonna work too well, like,
Especially in a deck with 3
and
Tendril Grasps.
yeah, 3 tendril and artichoke as well just, like, really destroys, like, any kind of like, if he's going wide with like, the creatures in the mono nature deck are pretty anemic in the early game,
It's true.
to be honest, like
To be fair,
yeah, so
Darksigner's 2 drops are all Giga Weenies too. He has no
yeah,
3 drops, and his 4 drops are 3Ks. His biggest
mhm,
creatures are
but
4K, but you know,
yeah, but they're, like, still slightly bigger. They're, like, a degree bigger, and, like, he doesn't mind trading off the pineapples whatsoever, and then
yeah,
Renegade just beats over everything else, basically, so
that's true.
yeah, I mean, probably enough talking, I guess, but
Fair,
good
fair.
breakdown. I think both of us agree, though, that, like, Darksigner is probably the favorite, but
Yep.
the die roll is important.
hmm All right.
So,
So here we are into the match. We are right before turn 1. Do you want to talk about opening hands at all?
yeah, we can talk about it again, I guess, yeah. Well, Gareth's hand is pretty decent. Like, Prickleback is one of the cards you wanna see
Yeah.
just for that the sake like, the fact that it can poke a shield and then come back to hand is, like, really crucial.
Mm,
Because, like you said, the board presence, like, doesn't matter too much because 'cause you're not, like, really leveraging it in an attacking fashion whatsoever.
mm,
Because 'cause they're mostly just being leveraged as bait, and having Prickleback in your hand is actually sometimes even better than in play because with if you can find a hatchery, it actually just, like, nets mana rather than costing mana,
mm,
which is, like, better than having it in play where it's, like, just neutral on mana, so
absolutely. Yeah.
Prickleback's great. Gigahorn or Charging Greatclaw is also, like, secretly one of the most important cards in a
hmm
lot of Mono Nature's matchups because it's the cheapest, like, most aggressive evolution.
Yeah.
So those 2 cards in conjunction are really nice to see,
And
but,
bridging you from 4 to 6 if you don't have Broodmama in hand does quite a bit,
mhm,
because sometimes you don't have Anjax, sometimes you don't have Broodmama, but you can get to your roll core, and that's another piece of reload. And at the right around turn 4 point, especially if you're on the play instead of on the draw, you're running very low on cards in hand. So you're starting making a decision like, is this card mana or do I have to play it? So
mhm.
ramping you that 1 extra turn at that critical point is a big deal.
Yeah, like, that's the benefit of nature too, is, like, it just generates so much, like, residual advantage
hmm
that you like, it just helps you play that game because you don't like you said, you don't have to like, you just don't have to charge anymore because you just get your mana off the Great Claw attack, and then you just gotta keep those, like, bait plus Evo combos in hand.
Yeah, totally
But,
agree.
I mean, Darksigner's hand is decent, right? He's got, like, 2 drop that he can cast, he gets the fire mana unlocked, which can be nice as well, and just, like,
hmm
seeing the fire card at all whatsoever, just he knows he's gonna be playing with, like, the higher ceiling of his deck because he knows when he finds that regeneration, he's gonna be able to do some powerful things.
Yeah.
But, I mean, Bad Apple is, like, the number 1 card he's probably looking for, followed by, like, maybe a Swift Regeneration to play towards, but obviously that can show up.
I mean,
That
looking at
has
his
a lot
hand,
of
it's a,
time to
it's a
show
pretty
up.
easy 2-3-4 curve here. You can just
Yeah.
mana Blitz Commando turn 1, draw something, don't care. Mana Root Trap, you've got 3 colors unlocked. Renegade, next turn mana something, don't care. Logo Scan, next turn mana something, don't care. Seneschal. At that
Yeah.
point, you've already drawn your 2 cards ahead draw wise. You're already 1 card ahead because I believe Darksigner's on the play and not the draw, or on the draw, not the play. It could be wrong. I
I
just
think
kind of pause
Gareth
this footage.
I believe Gareth won the die roll, though.
Okay, so we'll see what he designates. Darksigner rolls an 11.
Oh, yeah,
And
Gareth
Gareth rolls a
killed it.
nat 20. Excellent.
Yeah, not well, always nice, always nice. So, yeah,
hmm
I think he'll definitely choose going first.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think Darksigner I think Seneschal, like, being not bad apple is, like, pretty critical when he's going second in that
Mhm.
case, like, you really wanna see the apple because like,
Mhm.
Seneschal's not really doing a good he's probably not gonna get there,
Yeah, I'd agree.
es especially against, like, the upper tier nature draw, which is what looks to be what Garrett's putting together.
Mhm.
Because yeah, he can just lead on the Prickleback,
Yeah. I almost
which
consider
makes
the
it
Seneschal like a pseudo how do I say a pseudo laws rather than a pseudo apple. Like obviously gets the draws, but like making things hexproof and
yeah,
stat line. It does.
it's nice for certain matchups for sure,
Yeah.
but,
Not in this
yeah, I think
tournament.
yeah, true. Yeah, piercing is at, like, the all-time well, I mean, there's just 0 copies straight up,
Mhm.
and even even Bone Blades, like, Andros was only playing 2,
Mhm.
and Louis just didn't play any in those couple darkness decks. But yeah, the Hatchery is also, like, an insane draw. Like, his
Yeah.
hand if that second Prickleback was, like, a second evolution, like, I would say his hand is, like, pretty much perfect.
Mhm. This is an interesting root trap. I don't mind it necessarily,
Oh, yeah, I
but
think that's a mistake, just
yeah.
yeah, I
It,
think Darksigner said as much after the match to me, like, yeah, I mean, we could pause and break it down if you want,
absolutely.
just, like, go in depth because it's, like, an interesting because it's a spot that actually happens a lot, like, you hit a shield blast against a Prickleback, and, like, there's always even if it's something like a Bone Blade, sometimes you, like, take pause and think, like, "Is it worth using it on this?"
Mhm.
But I think when it's Root Trap, it's, like, really not because you're basically, like, taking away the choice, right? Because the
Mhm.
Prickleback is either gonna be, like, a card that Gareth can charge or a card that he can play, and, like, by forcing him to charge it with the Root Trap, you're taking away the choice. But the problem is, like, the trade-off for getting rid of the choice is that, like, you give him a free land drop, like a free extra land drop, which
Yeah,
is
and that's huge in
a
this matchup.
tempo yeah, like, the tempo advantage is just, like, not worth that hit.
Mhm.
The card disadvantage aspect of, like, just spewing the Root Trap isn't the biggest deal, though, because like, he already has enough cards in hand, he's got the logos, he's got Seneschal, right? Like, he's and, like, Gareth is gonna be putting on pressure, so, like, the going -1 by wasting the Root Trap or using the Root Trap, I should say, not necessarily wasting it,
Mhm.
is not, like, the biggest consideration, because like, discarding a forest, like, you it's not a huge issue.
Yeah.
But I think, yeah, the tempo advantage or a disadvantage he puts himself on, I think is pretty big.
Yeah, that I totally agree, and you also have to consider, right? Uh, I think you mentioned this briefly, but with Prickleback, it always feels like, oh my god, this thing's gonna be a pain in the butt to get rid of because it's gonna keep bouncing away and keep bouncing away, and oh, this is an opportunity to kill it. That'll put him behind, right? Like you feel like, ah,
Mhm.
yes, I've got him. You know, I'm interrupting in some way. You know, I'm doing something. I'm stopping that annoying. I don't even want to call it a combo. It's one card, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Um, but opportunity cost, right? In this matchup, you're about to play a Renegade and then a second Renegade, which are the same size as Prickleback. You don't mind trading. Uh,
Mhm.
you don't mind pressuring that Pickleback out, right? Obviously, you don't
Yeah.
have like blockers of your own, but even if that Prickleback continues to harass and break shields, great, more cards. So like Prickleback removes itself. It's not, it bounces it back to hand, which in this game is a form of removal, as is many games. But
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
like, it takes away the cheap bait, which is, like, maybe what Darksigner is going for is just, like,
Mm.
hoping
I would have a read based on his mana decisions that he's got a fairly cheap hand, considering he mana Turnip, Horned Chameleon, and
yeah,
then
like,
played a one
like
drop. I would have some kind of read that his hand is pretty cheap. Otherwise, he would have held back the Turnip.
yeah,
Because like if he had like an Anjack or a Roll Core or a Boulder Fist or something, at least I personally would have held the Turnip. Because I want that
yeah,
guy to
that's
stick on the board for as long as
I think
possible.
I mean, yeah, there's, like, no way he doesn't have, like, a 3 drop, right,
Yeah.
of any kind, and, like, you're not gonna be able to get rid of a bait I don't know, like, the getting rid of the 1 Prickleback would come down I mean, it could be relevant, but it wouldn't be relevant for really, like,
Hmm.
a couple turns down the road, and it's just, like, not worth the tempo
Totally agree.
disadvantage of going behind a land, but
Yeah, maybe I shouldn't be
yeah,
hand rating against people who, as you said, have played maybe 100 matches of Kaijudo in their life. But
yeah,
that'd be my guess. Like managing Turnup in this matchup, especially when Turnup is going to be bigger than nearly the entirety of Darksigner's deck. Uh,
yeah.
it
I
that
mean, I just don't
that's
think it
telling.
matters. Like, in my opinion, I think, like, Turnip in general, I think is the worst 3-drop in Mono Nature, and I think in this matchup, it's also not, like, particularly relevant. Like, it's a good way to, like, secure board span. Sorry. Like, it's a good way to secure board position, but, like, Darksigner has no, like, Rusalkas or Piercings, Bone
Mm.
Blades that are gonna be threatening his bait creatures anyways, and in terms of, like, being a secure card to go for lethal with, like, I mean, like, 2/3 of Darksigner's Shield Blast can, like, out a Turnip,
Mm.
so it's not, like, the kind of, like, hexproof finisher that's unbeatable kind of thing. So I think it's definitely the lowest priority 3-drop for me. So,
Yeah,
like,
no,
I
I'm
would
not considering it
yeah,
like a high priority 3-drop. I'm saying it
yeah,
as you can play this at 3 mana, and by the time turn or mana cost 8 rolls around, considering your opponent's deck, it's very likely to still be on the board, unless you run into a root trap.
mhm,
So that's the
fair,
benefit right there. That's all I care about at the moment, right? It's if I
mhm,
had something big in hand, I would want to slam this turnip because I can almost guarantee come turn 8, I'm gonna have a dude. Well, probably not 8, right? Probably 6, 7. But point
yeah,
remains.
that's fair.
Yeah, that's
It's
the
fair.
only value it has in this matchup.
Yeah, the essential thing, though, is, like, there's no way he doesn't have, like, a follow-up play of any kind, so,
Yeah,
like
exactly.
but, yeah, so the idea would be just, like, get rid of the Prickleback, so that way you're not having to face down, like, an Anjac Prickleback play down the road, but
Mm,
it doesn't seem I don't think that's, like, too consequential because yeah, you're just
yeah,
speeding up the process of other bad things happening to you, but,
yeah. We
yeah, that's
are agreeing on opposite points, I think, which is fun.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
fine,
All right, continuing.
but
Yeah,
yeah, just
yeah.
drops a 2-drop.
Nothing, nothing to comment on. That's not a great top deck.
No, I think that's amazing. That's, like,
Really.
almost the best card in the spot. Yeah, and I think Gareth, from what I remember, I believe he doesn't charge this turn,
Mm.
which I think is, like, a super heads up play, but seeing this yeah, I don't know.
He's already a mana ahead. That makes sense. Yeah, I
Yeah,
didn't
like
consider it a good top deck because I assumed that he would
yeah, okay,
charge, but that makes perfect sense.
the set dropping the Prickleback there is a mistake
Mm,
as well because it just nets a mana next turn, so he just never has to charge. Because now
mm,
he'll have to top deck and charge whatever he top decks to play the Charging Great Claw, but if he just holds again, like, the hatchery's not dying to anything.
yep.
So if he just held that Prickleback, next turn he just goes, draw. If you draw something sick, you can hold it. If you draw something you wanna charge, like a Sumo Artichoke, you can charge it.
Mm. But you can
But
go
you
prickle
can
into Great Claw for -1 mana for what, 3 net
exactly,
mana?
the
Yeah.
Prickleback just nets a mana with the hatchery, so dropping it there,
Mm,
he's gonna be doing with it is using it as a bait for the Great Claw next turn anyway. So he's basically all that happens is he just forces himself to charge his top deck
mm,
rather than having the choice to charge or not.
yeah.
Um, so that was a mistake, but it was a super heads up play to, at
Did
the
not
very
charge.
least, not charge because both those Great Claws are exactly what you wanna see.
Mm. What do you think of those Renegade over logos?
I like it.
Just want to contest
Well,
board?
yeah, I mean, you kinda just need to make sure that you can put on, like, a clock or, like, a two-turn clock at some point,
Mm,
and this just lets him, like, get 2 draws. Because like, when you think about it, like, he's gonna drop the Seneschal next turn anyways, right?
mhm,
So,
mhm,
he's only going, like, -1 draw because that Renegade's gonna draw a card off like, that's gonna be an extra draw, right? So, you'd rather -1 card from hand than minus, like, a body from play, basically.
yes. I totally agree. I think without the Seneschal, it changes the play around. I would almost always go Logos on 3, but
Mhm.
if you can have in this specific situation where you're plussing another body, then yeah, absolutely.
Interesting as well that I don't know if I would've held the yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know if I would've held the Raw Core there or the second Great Claw. Like, I
mm,
just wanna again, like, the Great Claw's live with, like, pretty much any bait that you draw off the top,
mm,
whereas Raw Core is only live with, like, another 1 drop or a hatchery.
mm,
So I probably would've held the Great Claw,
mm. He's
but
probably
yeah.
thinking, well, he hasn't had removal this entire time. What's the worst that's gonna happen? I'm gonna top deck. Don't care what I top deck. Mana it, and then go roll card. Probably on the hatchery. Uh,
Mhm.
yeah, roll card probably on the hatchery. Just At least that's what I do, so I can dodge a Tendril Grasp. That's the only thing that would kind of stop me here. Or maybe an
That's
Artichoke.
fair.
Yeah, but whatever. Also with no hand, Hatchery doesn't do a whole lot. But Roll Core, reload, continue the onslaught. Right. That'd be my only thought.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I guess that's better. Like, I'm looking at it
You're trying to
like
ramp.
Great Claw, yeah, Great Claw just gives like better lethal odds next turn, I guess. Because like
Mm-hmm.
if you draw like any creature, then all of a sudden you're basically threatening them to have like Root Trap plus Artichoke, or like Root Trap or like Artichoke times 2, or you know what I mean? You're just putting them on the spot to have 2 Shield Blasts, assuming this attack goes through, like,
Mm-hmm.
because you have that extra attacker with Hatchery, whereas like the Roll Core, like you said, you're gonna have to top deck and play it on the Hatchery, which means like,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, obviously, like a Root Trap here would just like be, or a Tendril here would be annoying because it eliminates the bait for it. So it just gives you a little bit less draws to close the game over the next couple turns, in my opinion. But if it does resolve, then it also just kind of locks up the game. So it's obviously a great spot for him either way. But I think there's a little more risk to the Roll Core
Yeah.
line.
Yeah, I agree. It's more sustained damage, so to speak, but it's not all up front. And as we talked about at the start of the match, it's really on Gareth to get underneath
Yeah,
this deck before the
because like
combo can be
if
established.
if Darksigner drops an apple here, which unfortunately it doesn't look like he has yet, but he could
Mm.
also just like trade both of these renegades in. Um,
Oh my god, he's
and
contemplating a
then
swing with the hatchery. Oh my
and then
god.
that puts him to 8 mana. Like he goes to 8 mana and he could just regen the next turn if, and then
Yeah,
like he
and
has,
ace toast.
yeah, he could do some stuff with that because he's already got Durian, he's got access to the tank, so he could do some crazy plays.
Mm.
Um, if he had the apple, but with his current hand, I mean, he doesn't have regen or apple, which is like very unfortunate.
Yeah, he's kind of in Seneschal or bust territory, but that's not even like anything good right here. Like,
Mhm.
he's probably well, it's not that he's afraid. He just
Oh,
he
that's
got the apple.
that's a good draw. But without regen, it's still kind of unfortunate
Yeah.
because you, oh man, yeah, this is a really tough spot for him.
Mm.
Because like I would consider, yeah, if he attack, yeah, he just goes face, which makes it like more likely that he just dies. But
Because
he's
it's just
just
giving
gonna put on the
resources.
pressure. The problem is he's not like really drawing to anything this way at the same time. Or
I wouldn't have gone face honestly, because I think that
I
well,
mean,
no, you kind of have to put him on a clock because
yeah, if you're
you're
hoping for
you're
like an
basically dead on
artichoke,
board. Yeah.
yeah, the only
Uh,
other yeah, it makes sense, I guess. Like you're hoping for like good shields basically,
yeah,
and
you're
like
praying
an
for good shields,
artichoke.
and then you're trying to win in the clapback. That's
The
his
only
only out.
Yeah, like, I guess best case is, like, Gareth just bricks off, like, just plays, like, a solo Broodmother or something like that, doesn't have another Evo,
Mm,
and then he just, like, breaks 2 with Great Claw, and then you have an Artichoke and Shields, and then you can actually just, like, lethal
mm.
Gareth the next turn.
Oh, this is rude. Doesn't need to charge again. Prickle back into roll core should cement this.
Yeah,
But
it's, I mean, yeah, he's forcing him to have double blast at that point, which
yeah,
is, yeah,
interesting to
basically,
charge the Boulder Fist here when he charged the when he kept the roll core before, right? Because he was going for the sustained damage over time, but and
mhm.
again did not actually need to charge it all this turn. But whatever, it's fine.
Yeah, and then I think I remember, yeah, he just that attack also makes no sense. If
Yeah,
you're
why
gonna
not?
attack there, you just, yeah, you attack with the roll core 100%. So that was
Yeah.
just a little loose. Like if you're, he knows the public deck list, so it's not like he has to like play around Return to the Soil or anything like that.
Hmm.
Like that was
Hmm.
just suboptimal, but
Yeah.
I think it gets there anyways. But yeah, I don't know. Like the only thing is maybe Darksigner doesn't give him those cards, and he just, like, he could double trade into the,
The two
like, put
bronze
himself up
arms.
8 mana.
Yeah.
He could have double traded, gone up to 8 mana, 9 the following turn, so he could have, like, had some chances where he just, like, charges Steam Tank
Hmm.
and the following turn and then plays regen, but he's, like, banking on having, like, the regen in shields or,
Yeah.
like, and off his draws and also having a shield blast, which is, like, pretty low odds, so maybe it makes more sense to just hope Gareth has nothing and, like, you get an artichoke or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, tough spot for him.
Yeah.
Actually, no, I guess Tendril, what am I thinking? Yeah, like, Tendril would be, insane too.
It
That's
kind.
probably more what he was thinking. It's just Tendra out of shields, kills the hatchery, and ramps him twice anyways, and then he can actually just go for lethal way easier.
Mhm. That would have
Yeah,
been
that's probably
something at least.
yeah, no, that's probably what he was thinking more. He needs to put the pressure on, and if he has Tendril, which he's probably gonna need to survive, then he's still getting the best of both worlds, where it's just straight up better than my play. Because at that point, you are yeah, you
Wait,
have the shields broken and the mana, I guess.
yeah, and you've got the mana, and you can go into Swift Regen. But the Swift Regen wasn't shields. He did not have that in hand, so he still needed to top deck that for like full lethal.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
it's a
Yeah,
rough
I mean,
spot
yeah,
no
that's
matter
tough
what.
stuff.
Like he was in not a great
Yeah,
position.
Gareth's draw was insane. Like, he had the Prickleback, he had the cheap Evos, he had, like, multiple Evos, he had cheap bait,
Hmm.
Jarbala Hatchery on turn 3, which is yeah, I mean, not
Hmm.
much to say about that, to be honest. Like, Darksigner had 1 blast, and it was, like, the first shield broken, which was kinda unfortunate. I mean, I think the only thing Darksigner could have probably done differently was not use a Root Trap,
Yeah.
which yeah,
Frankly, that
would've
would have changed a
just
lot.
yeah, it would definitely would've, 'cause, like, he just passes on turn 2 at that point, but instead he gets to play Hatchery turn 2
Yeah.
or turn 3, what am I saying?
But
Yeah,
it
but
forces Gareth
same
to
thing.
mana one more thing, which
Yeah, or something,
considering he
yeah.
had so many evos in hand towards the end, that and he was already kind of, how do I say, eager to mana his evos because he just wanted to play mana on curve almost all the time outside of
Yeah.
that one turn we skipped.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, he skipped anyway, so I don't even know if it was the biggest deal, 'cause, like, he would've
Yeah.
just charged the Prickleback in the next turn and skipped, like, charging the I don't know, it would've been weird. It's not the biggest deal, but I think it was still a mistake.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I agree.
but yeah, now he gets to go first, and he's got Bad Apple in hand, which is really good to see for him.
Yeah. Um,
Although yeah.
is curve wise, it could be a little better.
Yeah,
Uh,
I mean, just any 2 drop, and he's got, like, 11 more of them
yeah.
is good.
Yeah.
But,
I'd like to see
Duke
something to
Durian,
do on
not the
3, but it's
yeah.
okay.
I mean, Durian's, like, the 2 drop you probably wanna see the least in your opening hand, but
Mhm. Mhm. Meanwhile, Gareth is, I would call this not a great opener.
yeah, I
2
think
into
no.
3, and then you don't have anything small after the 3, so you can't really enable anything. And the Brood Mamas are likely at least one are gonna, maybe both are gonna make it to mana. Then you're banking
Yeah.
really hard on that Anjac coming down and dying to get any draw off the Broods.
Yeah, I think Brood Mother's just, like, not that important in this matchup, as we kinda saw the pace of the game
Hmm.
last time. Like, it's not doing too much, like yeah, I think those are probably gonna be charged. But, uh but yeah,
Yeah.
like, I mean, Hatchery's great, but the rest of the hand, I mean, Hatchery Evo is good, 2 drop is fine, but
Hmm. Hmm.
the Brood Mothers are kinda just forests for the most part.
Hmm.
Ooh, mini tribes, though.
Yeah, no kidding. Ooh.
That's yeah, that opens up some oh, wait, oh,
Nope,
okay,
never mind.
yeah, that makes
It did
sense a
open
little.
up a lot of possibilities. That's true.
Yeah, he probably is valuing up the yeah, that's suspect.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think Brood Mother's is just the easy charge there. I think
I'd agree.
yeah, I mean, you have the clear, like,
Hmm.
nice draw of, like, 2 drop into Hatchery plus many tribes, and then on turn 4, you're dropping Anjac.
Yep, which would have been
Um,
sick.
yeah, but this now he just kind of,
Yeah,
yeah, that's just a
it's a
suspect.
choice that was made.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but, Darksigner, I mean, yeah, he's just got stuff. Like, he's just got
yeah.
I mean,
Is
best case is he probably rips a 2 drop and then just charges its Steam Tank, and he's, like, in a really good spot.
mm, the only thing that I don't even. Yeah, that's perfect.
Yeah, okay, that's nice. That's
Mm,
exactly the best
yeah.
card to draw.
Now, not complaining about this. I totally agree. This is the right call. Manning the one bad apple on turn 1. I totally think that's fine. But could Gareth have made the read? He managed a bad apple. All right, he's got a second in hand. And if he made that read, does he adjust his play at all for it? Because I don't think there's a way to really
Um,
adjust your lines for that.
yeah, I mean, if Darksigner charges an apple in the opening turns, I would say 100% of the time he has another one.
Hmm.
Um, but, pretty well in except for, like, some minor cases, but I don't think there's much he can do to change it.
Hmm.
Um,
He still hasn't
yeah, I
managed a
mean, you
brood.
just know
He managed a
no,
pineapple over a brood.
yeah, he's evaluating those cards way too high. He's probably heard me talk too many times about how Brood is a really good card.
Hmm. Yeah,
But,
context matters.
yeah, I mean, you don't have to play the pineapple. I probably wouldn't have if it were me, but I
Hmm.
would
I would
definitely
have held
hold it
that
in
for bait.
hand.
Yeah.
'Cause, like, yeah, like, in the next couple turns, it's just gonna be, like, a free bait for Anjac with Hatchery in play. because if this like pineapple trades off, well, I mean that's not going to affect next turn, I guess, but
Yeah.
I mean it's just more options. Like, why would you keep two of the same card when the first one's not even relevant? And yeah, I mean, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, because oh my gosh, yeah, they would have
Hit that
just
mana. Hit that mana. They'll never
yeah.
see it coming.
I like that he poked the, or I like that Gareth poked the shield though. Like just like
Mhm.
I said, like
Yeah. Poke the one, let
you
it happen.
wanna you wanna get him to an even number,
Mm.
so you're not forced. Like the worst case is you're beating down with double breakers, and then you just have to like waste the double break attack on like the lone fifth shield.
Yep.
That's like insanely detrimental to the mono nature game plan.
Mm. Mm.
But well, I guess no, he just finds a prickleback, so whatever.
That won't stop him from not manaing that Broodmother.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I mean, you have to.
I mean, the
Why
turnip's
would?
not worth anything here either, but at least it's a smaller piece of bait. There's some synergy with Jarbala. In terms of like, okay, my Evo costs essentially one more than it otherwise would from hand, which is fine.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
But I mean, Darksigner's in a good spot. He's got Finbar next turn.
Mm-hmm.
The Anjac is in like a weird like. This
Oh
is one
god,
of
he
the
did it.
issues where like, yeah, okay, good. I mean, I think he knows enough. Like when he has the Anjac coming down, he knows that he can charge that.
Mm.
So he plays.
But if he's considering Anjac for the Broodmother plays, then one, he should also consider that there's literally nothing in the other deck that can kill an Anjac, and two, you also could have just Broodmother like 10 miles ahead of time. So
So he clears board. Guess yeah, that makes. I don't even know if I like that. It's hard to. It's so hard to say.
yeah,
It's so
let's talk about that
tricky
a
to.
little actually.
It's super tricky to play against the Swift Regen deck
Mm-hmm.
because like obviously breaking there is like he's only on Darksigner's only on 2 cards, right? So, like, breaking in there and you just, like, risk him finding the regen, you
Mm-hmm.
basically just lose.
Yeah, and he's already got pretty much all of the mana he needs. I'm actually pretty in favor of clearing board here because you don't have guaranteed lethal or a 2-turn lethal setup really the next turn because the apple can clap over the hatchery right now if it wants.
Yeah,
And he's got to have some kind of relevant play from hand, very likely, even if it's just board refill, right? Because that's all his deck does. It's either draw, board refill, or win the game.
yeah,
So my thought being, if I give him more resources, especially at 2, 4, 6, 8 mana, I could be throwing away the game right now. Whereas if I kill,
yeah,
the pieces of the engine, at least I can. He's really in on this Broodmother play. Okay, I can Broodmother play a longer game, reload. Maybe I make it to a Boulder Fist or another Evo and do something bigger. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
that makes sense to me.
Yeah, that at least that would be my line of thinking. In that situation, I don't necessarily mind the board clear.
Yeah, it strikes me as, like, a little passive, but I think it makes sense
Yeah,
because,
he
yeah,
doesn't have
you're just
the hand to
too.
sustain prolonged aggression, especially if he gives up the Swift Regen and loses the spot.
Yeah, because he's just gonna take 2 and then, like, the bad apple clears and yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
he's in a tough spot either way.
for sure, for sure.
But yeah, I think with the Brood, you're kinda forced into that.
Yeah, and he's been all in on that Brood since turn 1. So
Yeah,
yeah, it is what it is. It if anything, it makes having the Anjak on board even weirder because you've just got this fat old beat
yeah.
stick sitting there that
Maybe it
like,
just, like, looks bad in the face of Finbar because at least if, like,
mm,
you use the Anjac to, like, just press his face, like, you could at least redeploy it and, like, get him down to 0 shields and, like, have a chance.
mm,
But,
but now this is an easy clear.
because yeah, you're gonna have to give him those cards eventually, and it's like but yeah, no, I guess it makes sense. Like, you just say, like, "Your
Yeah,
hand sucks. I'm just gonna try to lethal you in 1 turn."
yeah. And he's
Like, a
already
couple
mannered one Findar. What's the chance he has another? What's the chance?
high, probably. Yeah,
Everyone's got
something.
another
If he
Findar.
manages 1, if he's charged actually, I wasn't paying attention to see if it came off the bad
I
apple.
think that came off of
It
a bad apple ramp.
Yeah. But yeah, the Finbar comes down,
Hmm.
and then the board is clear,
Yep.
but now he's just digging anyways.
Hmm.
Like, yeah, he gets to look at so many cards anyways. Like, I just feel you gotta do something to speed it up, but
Mm,
I would probably have just, like, done it and lost on the spot, so
yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, both of us would have made very different mana decisions, put ourselves in a very different position from the jump. So it's kind of hard to say at that point.
Mhm. Boulder Fist? If he could I mean, if he can get there, it does some stuff, for sure.
Yeah, that is a
The
board
pro
clear.
Yeah, the problem is, like, the way things are looking if like, he's probably gonna be dead before it comes down.
Hmm. I don't even know what he does here. You mana Turnip and then you go Prickle Brood and just say, all right, hope you don't kill me. Or do you go
Yeah, I mean,
Prickle
he's
and
probably
Jack and try to trade over the Turnip?
yeah, I think he just comes down and kills the
Turnip,
dude.
yeah, or the apple, the Turnip,
Yeah,
Freud.
which is fine.
Yeah, again, it's more on this defensive play, but it's still like, uh,
Yeah, at least now you have, like, the Boulder Fist to hopefully play towards, right?
mm,
Which is good.
mm. And he's now expended 2 Fin bars. That's pretty much the only thing that could touch
Ooh.
an Jack.
Right,
And never
okay.
mind, game over.
Yeah, that's nice. That's a good draw. That is a good draw.
I've heard that's like at least decent sometimes.
So, yeah, I think
Let's see here. Some
yeah, I
mana
mean,
is 7. So what are his outs
yeah,
here?
I think you just bring out the Steam Tank, Durian, and then just drop a 2-drop and then just go in.
Would you go Durian over Renegade?
Yeah, Durian over Renegade.
Yeah.
'Cause it just yeah, it just I mean, Durian is it just protects you from him being able to push on shields.
Oh, duh, I confused Durian and Pineapple. Might be. Yeah.
Okay. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah,
I brain fart. It's been a year. My bad.
yeah. No worries, no worries.
Yeah, I'm like, don't they do the same thing, but one's weaker? Nope, it's the other one.
Oh, he goes for Finbar.
For Finbar. Okay, well, he be drawing.
Yeah, that makes
And
sense too, actually.
yeah.
'Cause your guys don't die, and then it's just, like, digs you for the follow-up. 'Cause otherwise,
Mm,
I mean, you break, like, 3 shields, and you
uh,
have the insulation, but
mm, it's only 2, right? Because there's a Finbar existing on board. The Trickster was played from hand just now.
yeah, but if he or no, if he played the Steam Tank instead,
Oh yeah.
I mean, like,
I see what you mean.
he would have broken or how many shields would he have broken? He would have broken 4, right?
But it wouldn't have been lethal.
Yeah, he would have been able to break 4 and still draw, like,
Mm. But then it's a question
4
of like, you break 4 shields, and they're only on 6 mana, and you go, okay, what are you gonna do about it?
well, yeah, that's the thing, I guess, like,
Mm,
these plays both draw 3 cards.
mm.
The other one breaks more shields.
Yeah, and it still leaves you with a wide, fat, literally indestructible board. So
Yeah.
I would
The only
rather have
difference
taken
is,
them to
like
less shields, frankly. Like,
yeah,
yeah,
the
you leave
only
an
diff
Anjac on board, but the Anjac can't
yeah,
kill anything. And they're only on 6 mana, they can't Boulder Fist.
yeah, and, are there any combinations that no, I don't think so.
There's no outs.
Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting. Unless yeah, that's right, there's, like, a Cryon, right? Yeah, it's Steam
Mm,
Tank, and he has both, right?
yep.
Yeah, I'm not really sure. 'Cause they yeah, 'cause he'd be forced like, Gareth would be forced to probably tap that Sumo Artichoke if he made the other play, and then you
Mm,
could just remove it outright.
mm,
And even if your creatures are small, they can still I mean, you have the Finbar to clear it, so you're
mm.
good,
And
but
a Renegade could trade basically over an Artichoke because the Cryon gives the extra 1,000 attack, they bump, and then Renegade's indestructible. So,
yeah, they all clear it, and even if you had, like, double Artichoke I mean, yeah, you can clear double Artichoke, you can also, like even the small creatures can always just, like, attack in and still draw because it's, um, swift.
yeah, he's got to break shields here.
Yeah, okay, he
Indestructible.
just yeah, he just forgot.
Yep.
Yeah, it's all good. Yeah, I
They
mean,
really do be like that.
playing
And if that's the case, I would have played Brood Mama guaranteed because you can swing with the Artichoke and then you get a Protector, which protects the Artichoke for 1 hit, which is
yeah,
basically a 7 blocker.
it helps you on tap for sure.
Yeah.
It makes it more likely that you can untap,
Mhm.
but, the only problem though is you don't really get well, do you
It
he would
doesn't
have had
matter,
the
man. This inevitability is here.
yeah, he would have had how many creatures in play? He had the Horn Chameleon already. Yeah, he would have just yeah, because he would have to lost his board, and then the Boulder Fist is, like, just swinging into 4 shields
Yeah.
if he was able to land it, and it's not gonna be
Yeah, with the board being
The
indestructible right now, this kind of doesn't. Well, it's no longer indestructible, but
yeah, the Broodmother just would have helped him increase
protect
his
the
chance
artichoke.
to, like, land a Boulder Fist, but the Boulder
Mm,
Fist wouldn't be able to do much at that point without the Anjac in play, so
exactly.
doesn't really you this is still is it? Yeah. No, it's yeah, he needs, like, another artichoke, right?
Mm, I believe so. You might even need artichoke roots to live. Could be wrong.
Interesting,
Trade.
taps
No, he just needs the artichoke. Boom. Draw the first. Yup.
yeah, I think if Darkseid I'm not sure, maybe I'm just, like, miscalculating stuff, but I feel like, yeah, the Swift would have been maybe better to just go with the Durian plus
Plus Cryon.
yeah.
I think we're both in agreement there. Because you take the simple matter is you take out all of his shields, and then even if he slams one artichoke, you still have a Finbar, an indestructible board, a Cryon, making it so that a bunch of your stuff can trade with the dude, and he was on 6 mana, so
Yeah,
he
because
couldn't have
he
slammed
has
you with the Boulder Fist, and that's and if he can't slam you with the Boulder Fist, and the Boulder Fist can't remove things, and he can't win the game on the spot, then there's
yeah,
not a
and
lot else to talk about.
you still draw the same number of cards off Finbar.
Yeah. So
So, yeah, it seems better.
yeah,
And then you untap with Cryon too, which is also
which
very
is
nice.
huge. Yeah, because there's a lot of top deck lethals.
Mhm.
All right.
But,
Yeah. So we're here to game 3.
true, unless we're just, like, missing some out, but
No, I
I don't think so.
I think between the two of us might have caught it, but
But yeah, that was
who's to
I mean,
say?
yeah, that's just I mean, Darksigner had the bad apple. He peeled the 2-drop on time
Hmm.
as well, so he had double 2-drop bad apple, which is just a really good start.
Hmm.
And, yeah, Gareth maybe made a few questionable sequencing decisions in the opening turns that
Mm.
game.
I would almost like, how do I say? Sometimes I don't want to sound rude, and I apologize if I do. Gareth, if you're watching this, you seem like a cool guy. Um, when I see a bunch of questionable decisions all in a row, especially with regards to mana, I attribute it to playstyle. I usually like to give the player the benefit of the doubt. I'll say, all right, they want to play a slower game than this. They want to, oh, be
Mm.
quiet, cockatrice. We're very active. I just opened a new tab. Um, but they want to take it a little slower. They're not as comfortable as a player going to face or recognizing what is and isn't valuable in a very specific matchup, which
Yeah.
I totally get. Um, but if that's the case, one of the things that like Earth Power and CVH always used to say back in the day was, "Hey, you can play the tier 1 deck, but if you're not comfortable with it or if you're bad at it, then it's better to play a tier 2 deck that you're really comfortable playing. Like just objectively, you'll just make better plays and misplay less."
Yeah, that's fair.
So
I don't know, I think I mean, Gareth basically just knows what I tell him when it comes to Kaijudo.
fair,
That's, like,
fair.
most of his, like, sphere of knowledge, so,
Mm,
yeah, I think it was just, like, the main thing was he was just overvaluing Broodmother probably,
for sure, for sure.
and, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. So if he wasn't comfortable, just like maybe because he probably didn't totally understand the matchup, as you
Yeah.
say, because he doesn't have that much meta knowledge. He's not comfortable just you know, realizing, okay, I just have to lay things out and jam it all to face, and the draws off Brood do not matter. Um, maybe he probably should have taken that away from the game 1, but
Yeah.
who's to say?
Yeah, I think charging like, the many tribes, I think when we both saw that off the top, we were like, "Oh, that's a great draw," and
Hmm.
then he proceeded
Yeah.
to make it his turn 1 charge, which was, I definitely something that probably started yeah, it would have been a lot different of
Mm.
a game if he
Many Tribes
had
is a
done
card
that.
that's really easy to underestimate, but in conjunction with the Jarbala, you go, wait a minute, this is
Yeah, it is
money.
not it is very nice, yeah.
Mm.
And then it's just yeah, it
And then that
does
would have
stuff.
snowballed him because he would have had 3 Evos on board.
Yeah, I mean, it makes it so easy for this deck to spam evos with this build because you just have, like, basically 12 1-drops almost because you
Mm.
just have, like, triple horn, triple prickleback, many tribes is basically a 1-drop, and those instances if you have enough of a board, and then Hatch Rate itself is basically a 1-drop too.
Yep.
So you just start dumping things, which is nice.
Yep.
Darksigner's hand is whack.
That's why I paused here. I'm like, we gotta talk about this.
Yeah, that is not. I mean, Gareth's hand's like not doing too much. Like it's
Mhm.
not. It's whatever. But
Gareth has
Darksigner's hand
easier
is
mana
kind of,
decisions at least.
yeah. Darksigner is in a bit of a pickle here. He
Mhm.
needs to draw like multiple good things to
Yeah.
like form like a pretty functional draw.
Yeah, the game is determined by the next 5 cards of Darksigner's deck, and maybe the
Mhm.
first shield.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm assuming Gareth is gonna want to start on the play.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I think you charge the artichoke pretty clear in this hand.
Oh, absolutely.
Not really a reason. It's like the easiest turn 1 charge in the deck.
But what if I charge Boulder Fist? I mean,
Yeah.
whatever,
I mean,
man.
you could.
Yeah. Who cares? I would argue Boulder Fist is probably going turn 2. You're not holding it for 8 turns. Or
Yeah.
6 with the ramp. Cool.
And then we'll see. I'm just praying for.
He got green.
Oh, that's good. I
That's
mean,
a
it just gives him some nice. It just opens the avenue for like
yeah.
future draws to be better.
Yeah.
But I think, yeah, logos makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
You're probably not gonna. You're gonna hope your deck gives you something so that you don't have to spend time casting 2 logos.
Yeah.
It's
And
basically.
this is the issue I almost always have with Logos. I love Logo Scan as a card, but I hate playing Logo Scan. It always
Yeah,
feels like such a tempo loss.
it is. But I mean, this deck is like kind of makes up for it because like
Mm-hmm.
it just gets things online to the point where like I mean, Swift Regeneration is like a huge tempo push, and you're basically just like facilitating that down the road through Logo Scan. So
Mm-hmm.
you take a hit, and then you get a huge like swing with Bad Apple, and then you get a huge swing off Regen. It's
Oh,
kind of
Many
good.
Tribes doesn't go on curve. Well, he's got. Oh, sorry, he picked up a
He's
second
got
one.
the other
He's like,
one.
I missed this. Picked up the second one. All right, that's fine. That's fine.
Interesting. I mean, this is like Mono Nature has some really tough like sequencing
Mm.
things that are kind of like I don't know. They're like little puzzle. It's not like a combo deck, but it's well, yeah. That's
Well, that
there.
seems good to me.
Yeah, I would probably charge the fist here.
I would
How
have
he
charged the
charged.
fist for sure.
Yeah, because then you just I mean, it opens the door for, like, every Evo to be, like, a really good top deck, basically. Like,
Mm-hmm.
Anjac and Great Claw get insane. Rollcore, I think you have to wait a turn if you draw it, but
Yeah.
still. And if I'm him, I don't know if I poke here. Like, I probably
What's the
I
Renegade
don't know if
trade? I don't know.
just attacks over clean. Like,
Mm-hmm.
he wants to get that shield like I've talked about, which is, like, a tip I gave him, but
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if this is the spot to do it, but he
Yeah.
goes for it. Yeah.
Thankfully, he continues to give Darksigner more kind of doo-doo.
I mean, Darksigner was probably, like, just insanely happy when he saw that card go sideways, and he would get to look at another card.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Just
I know I would
infinite
be.
one. And now we see, like, does he wanna drop the 2-drop? Which does a decent job, right? Because I think you do, right? You
Yeah,
just
it's 2
wanna.
drop into Seneschal next turn, and then it's just something else.
Yeah, and the Trickster normally might not be something you care about, but
Mm-hmm.
with the Renegade in play against, like, a field that has, like, a 1K against a dude who's shown that he wants to attack, like, it's
Mm-hmm.
not bad.
It's just, and if anything, it's just another draw, right?
Oh,
It's not.
yeah,
It's not awful.
and the Artichoke there, kinda mid. But, yeah, if he was sitting on Chameleon, it just gives him so many. I mean, I guess, like, it's not the biggest deal, right? Like, I
Mm-hmm.
would've held the Chameleon because it just helps you line up, like, multiple Evos, but at the same time, I mean, he's got 2 bait creatures in play, right? So,
Yeah.
it's not like
You know what's better than 2 bait creatures? 3 bait
more
creatures.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Especially when it, like, literally helps you cast Rollcore,
Yep. Yep.
which wouldn't be something you couldn't, so.
Yeah. Again, playstyle difference. Bird in hand, right? You've got a big fat beater in hand, and he doesn't have anything else. So I understand the appeal of,
Mhm.
well, I don't have anything else. I guess I'm gonna hold on this.
Yeah, I mean, Boulder Fist does give you some, like, backdoor stuff, right?
Mm,
Just being that insulation,
hot.
but,
I just want backdoor
yeah.
stuff from Boulder Fist personally. They swore it. We can cut that if we need to. I apologize.
No worries. But now it's like, does he wanna attack? Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
Which is, again, these are those spots where you kinda have to attack, but, like, both players are, like, really happy when the other person attacks, but at the same
Mhm.
time, like, you kinda have to do it, and then I don't know, it's weird. It's
Yeah.
just weird.
Yeah. You just give it the roll core too, especially in a deck with 12 evos. If he's got something in hand, and he's been holding that card in hand for a very long time. I'm not
Mhm.
sure how elaborate the hand reading is in Cockatrice. Maybe you don't know that's the card that he's been holding, but oh god, he got the
No,
prickle
I don't.
back too. Oh no! It's like
Yeah,
watching a
it's
car
good.
crash in slow motion.
Yeah, it's good. That is good.
Mm.
Interesting, and hatchery. So, yeah, he could do some insane stuff. Like, he can just play hatchery plus
Yeah,
roll core
hatchery
straight up,
discount of 4 straight into roll. Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
then that leaves him with, like, Prickleback Boulder Fist off 5 mana next turn,
Mm-hmm.
which is
Gross.
pretty good. Pretty good.
Please, I'd
And the
like to.
charges.
And never mind. And
Yeah.
I think that's something that is to Gareth's detriment just due to inexperience. He doesn't quite understand how those slightly more elaborate combos work with hatchery and many tribes.
I don't think he sees.
Mm. Or
He
actually,
he
I
definitely didn't.
shouldn't phrase it that way. I apologize. It's not that he doesn't understand. He gets it. He's smart enough to play
Yeah,
Kaijudo. He
it's
gets
just
it.
not something he's used to looking for,
Yeah,
so
exactly,
he missed it.
exactly. Just missed it.
But, I mean, this is still a good position for him,
Hmm.
and, like, getting the charge is at least good because, like, the charge still with 1 hatchery, like, it makes it because, like, if he's gonna lose this hatchery to something, I don't know,
Yeah.
like, it makes it weird because, like, if he would've just gone, like, 3 drop plus hatchery and then evolve on the many tribes,
Hmm.
then, like, he would if he wants to clear both creatures, he puts the one of those 2 hatcheries sideways,
Hmm.
and then the Seneschal comes over that the following turn, and then he ends up in a spot where, like, the 5 mana Boulder Fist is probably not gonna happen unless he wants to, like, leave Darksigner with 2 creatures in play, which, maybe he's probably right, but Darksigner could even bounce one of the hatcheries, which, yeah, makes
Launching
it
a
the
hatchery
Boulder
almost
Fist.
doesn't feel like enough.
Wait, can he still cast the Boulder Fist off? No, he can't, right?
No, I can't because
No,
it's only the second one. It's not an everything discount.
off the
It's wow. Yeah, and this lends more to what I was saying before about playstyle, right? Because
no, yeah, I think
if you've got Rollcord Boulder Fist in hand, I'm pushing his poop in. I am going to the dome. He's on 5 mana, and he doesn't have the
yeah,
apple.
that's interesting. Yeah, I mean, he could've just gone for those shields, right?
Yeah. Or he even could have taken 1 trade and set the
Then
Boulder Fist
broken
in,
2.
or the Rollcore in. Oh,
He's
come
gonna go
now. Don't be like
yeah.
that.
Oh, I don't usually hit okay. Oh, okay, yeah.
Oh, I could have just ignored it, huh?
Yeah, you can just
I'm
drag it to the
learning.
side.
It's been
All
a hot
good.
minute. It's okay. We were right about.
Oh, quick
Yep.
EPM, nice. Faster than I could do that.
It helps when your computer doesn't fight you at every action.
Yeah, true, but yeah, that was
Mm.
an interesting spot. Like, that turn was actually I mean, that's just a hard turn in general, though,
Mm.
but, I mean, it's a good turn
Mm.
regardless.
Yeah, and if
Um,
he's been playing defensive this entire time, holding the Boulder Fist, then I guess it makes sense to play defensive and clear the board. That's the line
yeah,
he's committed to.
because like, if he just breaks, yeah, what if if you're saying he just, like, kills 1 creature and
Mm.
then goes for 2, the problem is, like, no matter what, Darksigner's getting that extra mana for something like a Finbar, I guess.
Yeah, that's true.
Um, but yeah, it's weird.
Mm.
It's
Even the
weird.
Finbar, does it really save him? Because he got the second roll core off the first roll core. Like I
No, but
guess.
it gives him a little bit of traction though.
Hmm. But even still, if he's down to 2 shields, he ripped the turn up and a roll core. So he
Mhm.
bounces a hatchery or a second roll core or whatever. He's still in such a dominant position. If it
Yeah,
was
he
me, I would
breaks
have pushed it to the
through.
dome.
I mean,
But
you'd just be, like, really worried about, like, a Tendril
mm,
Grasp, basically, like a Tendril Grasp, and then he just goes, like, Finbar bounce.
that's true. That's
Then it's just, like, that's pretty rough. Um, yeah, I guess. Like, yeah, just
But
Shield
even if
Blasts
there
are
is a
good.
tendril grasp, anything small off the top, and now you're just hard ripping Boulder Fist.
Yeah, I mean, even our Sumo Artichoke too, just, like,
Yeah. Well, he's mana 2 artichokes. I don't think you can rely on those.
Yeah, but I mean, it's still a thing, I guess.
Yeah.
Then he pokes.
Gets this nice Swift Regen draw. Or a second Cryon.
Yeah, set up. Yeah, I mean, yeah, you're probably right. Just go aggressive the trade, but I don't know. Like trading the many tribes is pretty heads up though.
Yeah, for sure.
Ooh, and then he keeps the chameleon, which is also heads up.
Mm.
Yeah, that's just great,
That's
good play.
learning right there. That is, what does they say?
Yeah,
Use the test to take the test. That man is
yeah,
making iterative plays between game 1 and game 3.
yeah, that's just a heads up play because now he can just drop the boulder fist, and if you obviously like it, yeah, it nets or it gains a mana from
Yep.
hand where it's like neutral, so that's just smart play.
Now, the Boulderfish Unleash doesn't actually end the game here, but he does have a triple breaker and 2 attackers, one of which being hexproof. So, outside
Yeah,
of
I mean, yeah, he beats Root Trap if he.
outside of some very specific outs, it's game likely.
Like, yeah, I mean, Darksigner hasn't seen a single tendril, and he's what he said saw 2 artichokes. He said or 1. Oh, Darksigner's seen
Yeah, there's
1.
1
So
artichoke in mana. There's 2 artichokes in Gareth mana. Yeah.
So yeah, now
And
he
there's
just
a
goes
root
for
trap in
gold.
mana there as well. So it's very unlikely that we're going to see anything.
So yeah, breaks with the 1, which makes sense because now you just beat root trap unless it's a first shield. So yeah, just going for game.
Yep. Yeah, and I agree. And if he was going to go for game off this, I like we both said, I think we would have rather started the push for game last turn, but it's fine.
Yeah, I mean the defensive play. Yeah, I mean he got lucky with the 1 drop out of shields, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably just putting the clock on would have been better because like you have the raw core to come down next turn and then just do stuff like just present the break again. But yeah, Boulderfish comes down.
And there's turnip on board, so unless this is
Artichoke or tendril.
Yeah. Which, to be fair, is more outs than usual.
Yeah, he's got a decent number. But we will see the reveal.
Yep. Ops not to unleash, which is fine and normal. It doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. They were discussing that in chat. 1 shield's a blitz. 1 shield's a bad apple. And the final shield's a Finbar. That's GG's.
Yeah, well, nice.
Yep.
Yeah, well, that is interesting. Yeah, I mean,
it's interesting that we both thought that Darksigner was the favored one in this matchup, and somehow, even with how do I say, the lines of play that we would not have replicated.
Yeah, there's some good plays, but also some bad plays.
Yeah,
but
for sure.
Yeah, I think like obviously like the horn chameleon thing. I mean, it's pretty simple, but I feel like some people would just like autopilot miss that, or the not charge in game 1 I think was like pretty heads up, but
yeah, but then it wasn't. It was followed up by some weird choices right after it. So
yeah, there was some stuff, but yeah, overall, I mean, Darksigner kind of did what he could, made some good plays as well, but yeah, I mean, it kind of went how I thought somewhat. I mean, the die roll was important, and like Gareth had the 1 broken hand. And like 1 pretty handily. Then Darksigner, it wasn't that close at all when he went first, and then that game 3 was pretty. I mean, that's down to the wire. Like that could. I mean, I guess it's not that close. I mean, it is kind of close, right? Like there were some things that could have done. Like
and this is how a lot of combo decks feel, right? Without any removal, you often feel like you're just 1 turn late.
Yeah, and that's what like all the shield blasters are for. But obviously, like I mean, we saw this match. Like Darksigner had the 1 root trap, and it was like the first shield against a prickleback, which is basically not even a shield blast.
That's exactly
true. So he ran like pretty below expected on those. But yeah, like I mean, if he just had a shield blast here, he probably just wins next turn, right? Because he just like charges Steam Tank and plays Blitz, and then just goes for game. So like if he just has any shield blast, he probably just wins.
Very likely, yeah.
But I mean, yeah. So that's unfortunate for him. But I mean,
does he even charge Steam Tank? Because he could go Blitz Seneschal, and then that gives him 1 more out just in case. But same difference. Because I put him up to 7.
Which one? Or
Darksigner. Instead of charging Steam Tank, he could
Well,
go.
he needs to unlock the red mana.
Oh, that's right. This is the another problem of dealing with decks with four
The
sources of
splash,
red.
yeah.
Yeah,
The splash, yeah.
yeah. Tricky to do.
So, yeah, I mean, it was close. That was a close match. Well
Mhm.
fought by both players. The Nat 20 came out on top.
Shout out to Nat 20s.
Yeah.
Crit success.
But, yeah, I mean, I guess that pretty much covers it for the
Yeah.
video. It was definitely a pleasure to have you on.
Yeah, it was good to be
So,
here. Entertaining matches. Thank you for having me. It's good to be back.
yeah, no worries. Hopefully, we'll get at least a few more. I mean, there's going to be a crazy amount of matches from this tournament, so hopefully we can get like a decent number, and they're not like all insane slogs because we both definitely. It seems like we like to ramble, which I think is good because like breaking down stuff
Mhm.
and just throwing out ideas is always helpful. So
For sure. Somehow we turned a 20-minute match into an hour video, so let's go.
yeah, I mean that's what
Yeah.
I like. Yeah, like
Yeah.
that's what I prefer in my
It's the
content,
content.
but
Mhm.
it's maybe not for everyone. But
Yeah. We
yeah,
both
so
have half
again,
decent podcaster voices, so at the very least someone's gonna just zone out at work to this.
yeah. But yeah, thanks for coming on,
Yeah.
Sense, and hopefully we'll get you on in the future. And thank you to everyone for watching these videos, and stay tuned for more matches down the line.
Yep.
Bye.
Sounds good, y'all. Peace.